You're looking at about 2.5 hours to get from the Bishop Ford Freeway to the Wisconsin line. It's an hour and 10 minutes southbound. Eastbound Adams Tollway traffic is packed 59 to Roselle Road with a rollover there blocking at least one right lane. The inbound Kennedy, your travel time to get from O'Hare to downtown Chicago right now is at 30 minutes. On the inbound Eisenhower, 390 to downtown, that's a 42-minute trip. On the inbound Stevenson, traveling 355 to Lakeshore Drive, it's 32 minutes. Ryan, 18 minutes from 95th. I'm Jim Calamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Plenty of sunshine. Breezy by the afternoon. High 44. 23 officially at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
Mike Manokin runs the Democratic House floor for 30-plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out.
Dan and Amy, and that means it's time for our weekly hit with Ted Dabrowski, the president of Wirepoints, Inc., wirepoints.com. And Ted, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning. So I was reading about the budget proposals of certain Dem socialist Midwest governors like Evers in Wisconsin and Jelly Belly here in Illinois and Wolf in Pennsylvania. It's interesting. They all have something in common, the budgets, that is. They all propose to increase taxes in various ways, and they all propose to reduce school choice in various ways.
Well, that's the common theme across many of the states like these. They're looking for federal money to balance their budgets, and they're using their power to reduce school choice. And let's see if they're successful. They certainly want to do that in Illinois, and we've had, I think, the only good school choice program we've had ever in Illinois, and they're trying to reduce that, but that's part of the game.
And with respect to the tax credit scholarship program, Pritzker's proposal is to reduce the credit down from 75% to 40%, which would effectively neuter the program. And that's really what this is. This isn't a cost-saving measure to get money in the coffers. This is a sop to the teachers' union, isn't it?
Well, it sure is. I mean, they never wanted this plan in the first place. If this is probably the few of the good things that Rounder did. He got this credit scholarship program in there, and they probably shooting themselves in the for having allowed that, but now they can try to get rid of it, and that's exactly what Pritzker and others will do. And if they can't do it all now, they'll certainly try over the next few years. So
you think if he's reelected that the credit scholarship program is going to go away?
Well, the unions hate it, right? I mean, that's competition for the schools, and you've seen school choice across the country blossom. You've got at least 26 states that have some form of school choice. And, if COVID has taught us anything, and I think this is one of the huge lessons, is that the unions don't care about keeping schools open. It showed us that what they care about is themselves, and so school choice is really the next real alternative, and let's see what kind of drive we get for school choice. But it's going to be a battle. I think it should be a battle, but Governor Pritzker and others will certainly try to kill school choice here in Illinois.
Yeah, and those school choice families, those recipients of the tax credit scholarships, time to get activated. And activate those in your social circles, the schools, the private schools across faiths as well as non-sectarian schools. Time to get activated if you want this opportunity for kids and the opportunity that it presents for you to educate more kids. Time to get activated on that. Now on the tax front, Jelly Belly not proposing to increase the states flat income tax, like his buddy Tom Wolf in Pennsylvania is. He's doing the old sort of take from your back pocket what I can't get from your front pocket. He's a bunch of other smaller tax and fee increases as the means to cobble together another phony baloney balanced budget.
Well, yeah, that's why he's looking at this $1 billion worth of what he calls corporate tax loopholes to figure things out. Of course, there has to be legislation to roll back some of what he calls the loopholes. But what we all know is that a loophole to one group is a cutting that is a tax hike on another group. So Pritzker wants to find ways to do it. He's going to find ways to do it quietly. I think the big story for this year will be that Pritzker managed to. This is how he's going to spin it. He's managed to save Illinois without having to do an income tax hike. We know it's because of the federal money that will be coming in, and 2022. Campaign season starts, and he doesn't want to, I don't think, have a big tax hike on there, so he'll do all kinds of the small ones that we're so good at in Illinois, just the nickel and dime. But that's probably the strategy, and he'll say that he kept things together, and here we go, we're back, and Illinois is back on track. You're already starting to hear some of that in the press, and that's sad because it kind of hides the real problems that we continue to have that I think only a federal bailout and all this federal borrowing has hidden.
So, Ted Dabrowski, if this passes through the Senate to this COVID relief, take 3 or 4, I don't even know what number we're on, how much money is going to be sent to Illinois, and will that be used for pension reform?
Well, it won't be used for pension reform, I can tell you that.
Not reform, but to pay the,
Sure.
To pay the pensions.
Even for that, right? So they're talking about $350 billion for states, of which the current negotiations, we don't know until it's final, will be about $14 billion for Illinois. And 7.5 of that will go to the state. So, the state has to pay back the federal government for the money it borrowed already, close to $2 billion, more than $2 billion, I should say. It's got a whole bunch of unpaid bills. It's got some COVID expenses. So really, that'll just kind of cover the holes and make Pritzker say that he balanced the budget in 2021. He'll have a little bit of flexibility because of that in 2022. And there won't be money left for pensions. Nothing will go there. So he'll just claim that he paid the statutory amount and everything's balanced. And there we go. Everybody's happy again.
Also, too, there's been a good deal of reporting that the hit to state coffers from the pandemic wasn't nearly as severe as anticipated in most places, and we've actually seen household income climb over the last year because of all of the propping up of said household income by federal largesse. Yeah,
at Wirepoints, we gathered all the 50 state data and looked at all the original projections of how much all the states were going to lose, right? And they were all, at the beginning of the pandemic, had these extremely dire projections of how much they would lose, which of course fed into the whole thing of let's get more money back into the states. And so we added all that up and we looked at the most recent numbers that have been released for calendar year 2020. And what you find is that states largely came out of this. Some came out ahead, but on average about break even with 2019. So despite the dire projections, things have turned out much better. A big part of that, of course, has been the trillions of dollars that have been thrown to people to spend. And so you've seen sales tax revenue survive. You've seen capital gains for the stock market up survive. And therefore, states don't need the money anymore. They've got enough money in their coffers. What we need to do is get back to opening up the economy and grow that way rather than keep printing money and giving it to people.
Speaking of COVID, my dad, who's 77 years old, can't seem to get scheduled for a vaccine, and it's not because he's not computer literate. He's waiting for an opening to get an appointment to get vaccinated, get the COVID vaccine. A caller yesterday had a story of her 83-year-old father also having trouble getting an appointment. It's anecdotal, but we're hearing a lot of these stories. And we also find that R. Kelly and some of his fellow inmates have been vaccinated, have already gotten both shots of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine. How are we doing on vaccine distribution here in Illinois based on vulnerability?
Well, we know, and it's just undeniable, right, that the people who die from this COVID are those people 60 and older. 90% of the people who died in Illinois are 60 or older. 90%. So we know who needs the vaccine. And yet, if you go to IDPH and look at their numbers today, you'll see that we've provided 2.5 million doses of the vaccine, and 1.7 of those, if I have it, or 1.7, yes, or 1.5 of those, sorry, 1.5 million of those have gone to people ages 18 to 64. In other words, more than half is going to the young people. Less than half is going to the people who die. It just makes no sense.
Right, but in some professions, like, I coach, so they told me, well, you've got to get a vaccine. I said, well, is it mandatory? And she said, I can't tell you to take it, but it would be, beneficial for you if you got the vaccine. So I took the vaccine, but I felt guilty the whole time taking it. But also, too, Dan, I think I could have a way to help your dad, by the way, so we'll talk after the show if you're interested. But it's, we hand it out on profession rather than age. And when you look at someplace like Florida, who did it right, they focus on the elderly first. And in nursing homes, remember DeSantis was there too when the vaccinations were being administered at nursing homes. And I don't know if we did that in Illinois. Do you?
Well, we did. We put them in the priority, but if you look at the numbers, right, we still haven't made it work. That's what's most frustrating about this is that we continue to put teachers. You hear about all kinds of school districts vaccinating teachers, and that's really sad because every time you're vaccinating a 25-year-old teacher, somebody else could be dying at that moment, right? And that's not an exaggeration. And then you hear the story of Lori Lightfoot opening up some of these places in southern Chicago, South Chicago, where they are vaccinating anybody of any age in those communities. And you don't even have to sign up. As long as you're from that community, you can come in and get a vaccine. And, they're trying to do that in the name of equity, but while they're doing that, elderly black people are going to die because they're giving the vaccines to the wrong people. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm. And with respect to the General Assembly, do we still have one in Illinois? Because I everything that we talk about with respect to state policy, whether it's fiscal policy or COVID policy, it's it all goes back to the governor's office. I remember once upon a time when we used to have a General Assembly that was part of this conversation.
You mean like they used to make a few decisions and actually vote on things?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Well,
do you remember that?
Yeah, when that place called Springfield they used to gather in,
Yeah, and I think, if you look at the numbers now, that's something that doesn't get any attention. But how the heck, why hasn't the legislature stripped Governor Pritzker of his executive order powers? This is the 12th month in. The numbers are collapsing, right? If you look at the COVID numbers, they're collapsing, of course, in a great way. Deaths are down, cases are down, hospitalizations are down, 70, 80% from those peaks. And yet you don't hear anything about, one, Pritzker giving up those rights, or somebody trying to take them away. So they're happy. I guess they're all happy letting Pritzker own this, and Pritzker will probably celebrate what a great job he did, despite the fact that we're the 14th or 16th worst in the country in deaths per capita. So it's a really screwy situation, and I don't think we can have a state if we don't have a legislature that actually runs it.
One other topic that we continue to bat around here, and I think some people are foying this information, but that requires compliance, much as it did in New York State. What exactly Pritzker did or didn't order with respect to infected nursing home patients being returned to nursing homes? That's been real gooey, his answers over the many months, and it seems hard to get data. They certainly don't promulgate any data. And just as people are starting to now ask those same uncomfortable questions about the Eva Peron of East Lansing up there in Michigan, shouldn't we be asking those of Pritzker?
Yeah, that's something at Wirepoints that we did. We compiled daily data on COVID and put it up on our website. And one of the struggles we always had was to understand the retirement home deaths. And of course, as we all know, they rose up to 50% at its peak of all deaths, assuming that that's the true number. But nobody could ever really get the full story on what Pritzker ordered and didn't order. And I don't think that, as we know, our investigative prowess in Illinois for this kind of stuff hasn't been great. And I don't think the press, I know Amy's done a great job of actually trying to ask some of these things, but overall, nobody's dug in there to find out what happened. But, we've seen it. If you look at the numbers, it is a sad situation, not just for retirement homes, but for the elderly. We don't have enough questions asked here. We certainly don't have enough answers.
Yeah, well, in regards to the VA hospital, I remember Pritzker saying, well, some of the staff members were infected and brought it in. And I thought, Really? Which staff members? But that's,
Right.
I mean, we had 36 veterans die at LaSalle County Veterans Home. So somebody has blood on their hands.
Well, Amy, you bring that up, and that's something that I think I get really angry about, is that, they put a lot of attention, as they should, when the LaSalle deaths started happening. But, that same thing that played out in LaSalle was happening all over the state, right, and in hundreds of homes. And, why didn't they have the same urgency when it was just normal retirement homes? And it's fascinating, and I'm glad they paid attention to the veterans, as they should. But it's the same attention that you should give for these nursing homes that you have tens and tens of cases and tens of deaths in a single home. Why didn't they get the same attention?
Ted Dabrowski, President Wirepoints, wirepoints.org is the website. Ted, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan all year long that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, and if you're 50 years old and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. The least expensive ACA PPO health insurance plan is $540 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $8,550 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium down to $273 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $6,050 in total out-of-pocket costs per person with my lower deductible, and you save $267 per month with my lower premiums. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
All right, got a text message from a doctor. Amy, don't feel bad about getting the vaccine. If you're coaching and you get sick, you will more likely give it to the kids, and they could then pass it on to one of their grandparents. It's not just about getting sick and dying. It's about stopping the spread. Okay. Hey, Balance of Nature. I'm about to take it now. 6 capsules. You're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies. Folks, it's all in there. Potassium, vitamin B, vitamin D. And the reason why I know is because I've been taking it for about a year now. And I went to my doctor, got my blood work done. And voila, she was so impressed with my potassium levels, vitamin D, vitamin B, vitamin C, that now my doctor is taking Balance of Nature. True story. And all the stories and testimonials you hear on this station, they're not actors. They're real Balance of Nature customers. So be one of the cool kids. Order your bottles of fruit and veggies today. 800-246-8751. 800-246-8751. And be sure to use discount code Chicago.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Keene Jr. of the Mail House, Inc., a family-owned and operated digital print mail house with a specialty in political advertising and a customer of Signature Bank. We knew that getting a loan to buy our business wouldn't be easy, so we turned to one of our trusted friends for a referral. She told us about the outstanding level of customer service her business received at Signature Bank since becoming one of their first customers in 2006. Today, we couldn't be happier. Not only did Signature help us finance the purchase of the mail house, but they supported our growth as we modernized our operations in mailing as well as from traditional to digital printing. If you're looking for a great bank to grow your business, take a look at Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Cold floors? The problem may be down below in the basement or crawl space. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer with Permaseal. I'm happy to say that we can now help make your basement and crawl space warmer and therefore your upstairs more comfortable with our new